Welcome to our place in the sun. Robbie and I have a beach retreat at Tawoon Bay, and we would love you to join us as we take you on our wonderful journey. Did you enjoy the picture at the beginning of the video? Well, that is our view. It is just glorious. So, pour yourselves a drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy our place in the sun. The beautiful quilt that you can see behind me was made by our gorgeous Robbie, and it was absolutely fabulous because we wanted to make a quilt that when you had finished all the embroidery, all you had to do was put your quilt together and it was quilted and you had a finished quilt. Not only is the front of this quilt absolutely divine with all the sashing, the blocks, the borders, our center medallion, all quilted in the hoop, but look like magic, it's double-sided. When you've finished your quilt, you have a double-sided quilt. Let me share this with you up close with our lovely little tray cloth. So I'll just remove this tray. Now you can see that we have our center square, our square extensions, our block sashing and cornerstones. That is all quilted and beautifully put together, and it's equally as beautiful on the back, just like magic. Let me show you how easy it is all to achieve. This video is in addition to our latest book called A Place in the Sun. And as I said, it's named after our retreat, and it's all bright and summery. And even though blue is not one of the colours I work with, it's in honour of Robbie because it's her favourite colour. But believe it or not, my retreat is done in this beautiful sun yellow and beautiful sparkling water blue. So I want to take you through step by step how easy it is to make this quilt. It is something, by the way, we've been wanting to do forever because people always balk at quilting, and now you can have wonderful McTavishing and gorgeous designs that you can do all in the hoop, and when you're finished you will have a quilt that is exactly the same as Robbie's. So we need our materials. We decided on the blue and the yellow as a theme. Lovely bright, clear blue and yellow. And then we needed colours for our leaves. So we had a plain and a floral, and we needed a fabric that we were going to cover the back of our embroidery at the back of the quilt. And of course we have this Premier cream homespun that we use for the front and the back of our blocks. So the front and the back of our blocks and our block extension pieces are in the cream. The front and back of our sashing is in the blue, and the front and back of our cornerstones is in the vibrant yellow. And as always, the easiest way to make sure you're using the correct colours is to exactly match your thread colours, the beautiful Jenny's rayon threads, to your fabrics. You will never go wrong with any sort of embroidery if you exactly match your thread colours to your fabrics. In fact, just looking at these, I want to start all over again, but I don't know that that would be high on Robbie's priority list. How long do you think it took us to make it, Robbie? She's thinking, so we'll take a moment here.
Yes, we will take a moment. A couple of weeks, about 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks it took for the embroidery, and then we had to put it together, and I don't think we'd be exaggerating if we said it took another week to put it together.
No, we wouldn't be.
No, So that's how easy it is. If you want to put 2 weeks aside, you too can have this quilt. So let me talk about what we've used, and I'll do it as we go along. Now, we have done everything that will fit a 200 by 200 hoop. All the designs, 200 by 200. This is your borders, your blocks, your sashing, your center medallion. Every design fits in a 200 by 200 hoop. Now there's 2 ways you can do your fabrics. You can cut them to fit the hoop, but each time you cut it you are wasting a little more fabric. Or you can do it in a continual strip, that is the length of your fabric, that has your quilt top fabric, your batting, and your backing fabric. Now you don't have to use the same colour fabric on the back for your blocks if you don't wish to, but you will be working with 3 layers of fabric that are hooped together. You may choose to iron your batting onto your top fabric if you wish, but you don't have to because it's all going to be quilted in the hoop. So we hoop our fabric, all 3 layers, 1, 2, 3, and then the best part of this is that your first colour, and we've done this in green so you can see it, is your lovely McTavish quilting that quilts over the whole block. The next colour will be the outline of the first applique. So what we then do is we take our piece of fabric that we have chosen for this outline, which in this case happens to be our little daisy fabric, and all our applique fabrics have Sheer Magic Plus ironed onto the back of them. This prevents fraying, adds to the thread count of the fabric, and makes it easier when you cut your fabric away. So when the first colour has been stitched, you place your square of fabric over the top of the outline. The whole outline will be stitched again, and then you use your little scissors to cut around the outside edge, which will be this line of your fabric. Now Robbie has done meticulous, I think we took hundreds of pictures, as absolute step-by-steps as each design goes through. Again, if you say you had a flower, and I'm just using this as an example, the design had a flower there and there, you would still place your square of fabric and just cut out those flowers. It's really easy because if there were 2 flowers, it does 2 outlines. So every time it is just a square. So I need to now show you your completed block. Now this is your block. It's 7.5 inches square, and you can see all our lovely applique is done and our beautiful McTavishing has been done. It may be harder to see because it's white on white, and it has been quilted. Now the last colour of your design is the outline of the outside edge of whatever your embroidery design is. You then come with another piece of fabric. So I'm referring back to this design. This will be your last colour. Once all your applique is done, another row of stitching is stitched around the outside edge of your applique, regardless of the shape. You then take your hoop out of the machine and you can secure another piece of fabric to the back with just a little bit of sticky tape, and notice we've put batting on this fabric, so it's fabric with batting. Then the machine will stitch the outline again around twice with a tiny little straight triple stitch, and then hey presto, you take it out, you cut around the outside edge, and you have covered all the embroidery that you had over the top of the quilting. Later on, you can come and do little freestanding embroidered decoupage flowers that you can glue. Using a fabric glue, you can glue them to the center of the cover up, if you want to put it that way, on the back of your quilt. And that gives you a beautiful double-sided quilt. So, but you can say your blocks are smaller. Okay, let me put this in position. We're going to make believe here. Let's say that's the center of our block. So our next step is to do our extension quilting to the block. Did everyone notice what a beautiful, perfect square I had around the outside edge of the center of my block? No, I didn't go through painstaking measuring and making sure my applique was in the center of the block. Notice that I have this outline. That is my cutting line and my piecing line, as this is going to be put together with the Jenny join with beautiful, fabulous flat seams. So on every piece of this quilt, you are given a cutting line. How easy is that? We're doing everything for you. So all you have to do when you are finished is to put your glasses on, use your self-healing cutting mat, line the edge of your ruler with the edge of the stitching. Now everybody measures in a different way, so as long as you are doing it in the same way for every piece, I suggest that you just go a little tad over the cutting line and then use your rotary cutter and your quilting ruler. Let me see how sharp it was. I don't have a lot of strength in my hands these days. And this rotary cutter's done a lot of cutting. One more just down the bottom here, but you can see my 3 layers have been cut away and I have a beautiful straight line. So I am going to be cutting all my segments for my quilt in this way. So we have our beautiful center of our square done. The next design that we are going to be stitching, and again through our 3 layers, is our block extension pieces. Now these are the quilted McTavishing pieces that are going to go onto the sides of our blocks to make them into a 12.5-inch square. Again, forgive us because it's in green, but we wanted you to see it. We are going to be cutting these to piecing size and finished size because we're going to put this together with the Jenny join. Now my beautiful Robbie has finished cutting my block extensions. You will need 4 for each block, but for this exercise we've just got 3 because we need to show you 2 steps. Now remember to follow the detailed step-by-step pictures that come with a place in the sun. This video is only meant to show you what we're doing, but at all times refer back to the directions and the step-by-steps. So now we have 2 block extensions that are going to go and line them up with the top and bottom of our block. I'm just going to show you how it's going to go. And these are then put together with pins so that the pins are vertical to the horizontal seam line. Now you can see that Robbie has used long quilting pins. Now the long quilting pins we're using, and you'll probably have bought also, remember they have plastic heads. Do not iron them. If you have long quilting pins that are glass headed, then you're fine, and we do use the glass headed ones, but we've used these ones so you could see more clearly. You then do a narrow zigzag, and you can leave the pins in over the top of the seam line. So we need it centered over that seam line to attach these two pieces to the quilt. Then we have the top and block extensions, but oh, we've got a space, and of course we have our little cornerstones. So our little cornerstones are joined in exactly the same way. So you would join those two together with the Jenny join, and then the whole piece goes across the bottom and then also goes across the top. So let's see how it's going to look when we've pinned these on. So now you have used your white cotton thread, or thread that exactly matches the background colour of your quilt blocks, and your open toe foot to stitch over the top of your pins down each side. Then we have to join the cornerstones in the same way onto the top and bottom block extensions, and pin them first and then stitch them across in the same way and across the top of the block. So now let's see how the block's going to look. Let's select this block. Now you can see here's our center 7.5 inch square. Here is our top and our bottom block extensions, our side extensions, which are the one long strip with a cornerstone, long strip with a cornerstone. You then come, and I want to show this to you close up. So now I want to show you our tape. I'll just move this aside first of all so you can see it. It is a little 1/4 inch tape in a colour that best matches our fabric. Not only is it 1/4 inch, but it is fusible. So all you have to do, and I'm going to use this one as an example so that you can see it, is come, and we're going to pretend that we've done a zigzag there on both sides. So first of all, you just slightly stretch your tape and put it on in a nice straight line by fusing it with a very hot steam iron. Now the steam activates the bond at the back. Of course you have to match it at the back, and when you have all your pieces stitched onto your block, you then come and do your tape and use Invisa sheer thread in the needle and your open toe foot to do a zigzag stitch over the top of your tape, so it's centered, and at the same time you are catching the tape at the bottom. Now this isn't a complete block as you will have it in the quilt, as you can see, because we haven't done our block extension, but we wanted this as a rectangle. Remember, your borders of the block, or sashing I should say, your sashing is also done in the hoop, as are your pretty little yellow cornerstones. So again, if we can refer back to this block, for the size of your hoop you will have 2 pieces of sashing which you join together with the Jenny join, and this time you would do the zigzag in blue, and we've used a little satin stitch ball, so it's gone in with the actual block sashing. And the cornerstones will be stitched on the end of the side pieces, top and bottom, and again when we finish, the tape covers all the stitching. Now I'm moving over here so that you can see our beautiful center medallion. Now a center medallion is made up of 4 7.5 inch squares. Now we wanted this to look like one big block. So rather than use tape, we put the blocks together with a zigzag, and using the cotton thread, not a rayon, we didn't want it to stand out, we did a narrow little satin stitch ball over the top of the jenny joins, and then the tape went over the top of it for our centre medallion sashing, if you want to put it that way. Our corner triangles, as we know, will not fit in one hoop. So again, here's our little square, and these little triangles are just quilted. Again, we used the jenny join here, but we used the little satin stitch ball to cover it up. So we're going to look at, right now we have our centre medallion done, we've got all our blocks done with their borders and sashing, we've put our quilt together, and we're working on our scalloped border.